Here now are the answers to the exercises factoring the perfect square trinomial. Problem number 1, we have x squared plus 8x plus 16. So first, we need to find out the square root of x squared. So the square root of x squared here, divide by 2 the exponent, and we have here x. And then get also the square root of our third term. The square root of positive 16 is positive 4. And multiply the results by 2. So we have 2 times x times 4. And if this is equal to our second term, this is a perfect square trinomial. And to factor this out, we take the result of the square root of the first term and then the result of the square root of the third term. And whatever sign is on the second term, we are going to use this. And do not forget to raise the quantity to the power of 2. Problem number 2, we have 4x squared y squared minus 20xy plus 25. Again, get the square root of our first term. We have here 2xy. The square root of our third term, we have positive 5. And multiply the 2 by 2. So 2 multiplied by 2xy multiplied by 5, this is equal to 20xy. And if this is equal to our second term, regardless of the sign, this is a perfect square trinomial. And to factor this out, just get the square root of our first term and the square root of our third term, and whatever sign is here, you put it also on our quantity. So raise the quantity to the power of 2. And for number 3, we have 9b squared minus 24bc plus 16c squared. Get the square root of our first term. We have here 3b. Get the square root of our third term. We have 4c. And multiply the 2 by 2. So 2 multiplied by 3b multiplied by 4c. We have here 24bc. If this is the same as our second term, regardless of the sign, this is a perfect square trinomial. And to factor this out, we will have the quantity of the square root of our first term and the quantity of the square root of our third term, and then whatever sign is on the second term, you copy it on our factor. And then raise the quantity to the power of 2. For number 4, we have 4 over 9x squared plus 4 over 15x plus 1 all over 25. You get the square root of our first term, and we have here 2 over 3x. And then you also get the square root of our third term. We have here 1 over 25, and its square root is 1 over 5. Multiply the results by 2. We have here 2 multiplied by 2/3 x multiplied by 1 over 5, and we have 4 over 15x. If this is the same as the second term, regardless of the sign, this is a perfect square trinomial. And to factor this out, we have here the quantity of the result of the square root of the first term and the quantity of the result of the square root of our third term. Whatever sign is on the second term, you copy that and you raise the quantity to the power of 2. And for number 5, we have 27m squared minus 36mn plus 12n squared. But take note, 27 and 12 are not perfect square. So let's find out if there is a number that we can divide the 3 terms to make each term a perfect square. Okay, so as you can see here, we can get 3 from the 3 terms, since 3 is common among the 3 terms. So we take out 3. What's left will now be 9, since 9 multiplied by 3 is still 27. And for 36, we have here 12, since 12 multiplied by 3, that is still 36. And for 12, we have 4, since 4 multiplied by 3, that is still 12. And then this will now be our first, and this is our third term. So we get here the square root of our first term, that is 3m, and the square root of our third term, that is 2n. You multiply this by 2. So 2 multiplied by 3m multiplied by 2n, we have here 12mn. If this is the same as our second term, regardless of the sign, this is a perfect square trinomial. So to factor this out, since we have 3 here on the outside parentheses, we should also include that in the factoring. So 3 on the outside, and on the inside will be the first term will be the square root of our first term, and the second term here will be the square root of our third term. And do not forget the sign. The sign here will depend on the sign of the second term, and then raise the quantity to the power of 2. And these are our final answers.